to Judge Duhart's no-show fundraiser. My name is Katie Tharp. It's weird we have to meet like this, but here we are. You're going to hear from a lot of people as to why Judge Duhart is the most qualified candidate, and from Judge Duhart himself. But remember, this is a fundraiser. You can click the link below to help donate to Judge Duhart's campaign. We have to reach out to people in over 8 counties. That's a big area to cover, so we appreciate any support. Enjoy the show.
Judge, we all have a story about why we got interested in the practice of law. What's your story?
Well, it's an interesting story. My mother was a teacher at Beverly Elementary. She taught there for a very long time, but in our house, education was really, really a big deal. And so one day, she pulled me aside. I had to be about 7 or 8 years old, and she said to me, "You're going to either become a judge or a doctor." For some strange reason, I said to her I was going to become a judge, not knowing any judges or what a lawyer does. But I told her that, and so it was a wonderful thing, I guess, how my life path really began to develop, because the skill sets in which I have really became consistent with my chosen profession. So it was not only that and that promise that I made to my mother, but and I was coming up, there were people in the community, lawyers, judges as well in the community that I saw, that I watched from afar, that I had a lot of respect for, and I saw the impact that they were having in the community. And so that kept me motivated down that path. And, that's how I decided to get into the law.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
My name's Shaun, Enright, the Executive Secretary of Northwest Ohio Building Trades. We represent over 17,000 men and women in the construction industry. We're very proud to announce our endorsement for Myron Duhart. Myron's been a great friend to the labor community, to me personally, and to all of Northwest Ohio. He's the most qualified judge we've ever worked with, probably the smartest man you'll ever meet, and probably the coolest guy that you'll ever be able to get to know. So we're very happy that Myron is running for 6th District Court of Appeals, and he has our full support.
How many years did you practice law before you became a judge?
Well, it was, I believe, 16 years, close to 20 years before I became a judge.
And what areas were you practicing in?
Yeah, I had a very large general practice, Jerry. A lot of people see the stuff that's in the paper and assume that's all I did was criminal law. But I did a lot of personal injury. I did a lot of bankruptcy. I got over in domestic relations every now and then. But what I did and what I had the opportunity to do, it was a broad cross-section of experience, practice area that I'm extremely proud of.
People practice.
That's right. Law is a people business, and you got to know people. And if you don't understand and know people, you're not going to do too well in the practice of law.
Great, thank you. Outside the practice of law, or now being a judge, what activities have you partaken of in the community itself?
Well, sure. I'll tell you, I've always been of the opinion that you should give back to the community. Oftentimes, there are opportunities of which that have been given to you, and because of those opportunities, you have done well. And so, as a result of those opportunities, there are expectations. And with those expectations, I give back. And so, over the years, I've done a lot of things. I sat on the board with the Salvation Army. I've sat on the board with the University of Toledo Alumni Association, University of Toledo Alumni Law School Alumni Board of Governors, and I presently sit on the board at Mercy Health right now. So I try to give back as much as I can.
That's good.
My name is David Fleetwood. I am the business manager of Labor's Local 500 Union. I've been in this office since 2013, and since meeting Judge Myron Duhart, we've always recognized that he had outstanding character and that he cares about the community. He's an upstanding man with a background that compared to anyone. And Labor's Local 500, all 1,270 of us have endorsed Myron Duhart, and will continue to endorse him for any position that he runs for.
Give me, if you can, probably the most significant experience you had while being a trial judge?
Well, certainly being a trial judge is a challenging job. I enjoy every minute of it. I know it's cliche, but the Toledo way is a wonderful way. I get to get up every single day and interact with wonderful people, wonderful attorneys. So that kind of makes my job easy. And so there are a multitude of cases that I handle. I like the variety of those cases, the nuances of those cases, as well as the complexity of those cases. And it serves as a challenge for me every single day. And I'm extremely grateful for that.
Why are you leaving us and want to go to the Court of Appeals then?
Well, that's a good question. More than you know, I get that question a lot.
I'm sure you do.
I see it this way. It's a natural progression for me. I see the Court of Appeals as really a unique balance. Blend is a better word. It's a unique blend of the academic exercise of researching the case to try and make sure you get the decision right, sprinkled in with my experience as a trial lawyer as well as a trial judge. And so I think the Court of Appeals is a perfect blend of all those things.
Well, I think the people are going to miss you, and I think maybe you're going to miss the people a little bit. That's a story I've heard of people that go to the Court of Appeals, but your experience, I think, will do you well there.
I am honored to endorse Judge Duhart for the 6th District Court of Appeals. Judge Duhart has always been a rational voice in the community and someone that we can look to for fair decisions and community leadership. Thank you.
Any lasting effects of COVID-19 you see on the practice of law?
Well, I think as a result of the pandemic, the courthouse, we've had to modify our operations as well as each individual courtroom consistent with the way in which they do business. And so, yes, I think there's some long-lasting implications to include the forced use of technology. I am holding dockets via video. I am holding pretrials via video. And I never thought that it would ever reach a point in day where I would even consider holding a pretrial hearing. Whether it's a suppression hearing or settlement pretrial, I never thought that day would come, and it's getting close to that day.
2 weeks I'm having a Court of Appeals argument on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So things are changing, and they're changing fast.
They are changing dramatically.
Well, I've been practicing law in this county for about just short of 50 years, which means that I've been through literally generations of judges. And I can tell you without fear of contradiction that Myron Duhart is one of the best judges we've ever had in Lucas County in the whole time that I've been here. And there's a reason for that. The reason is that Myron has a combination of heart and mind that is rare to find. It is, as Shakespeare said, a thing devoutly to be wished, especially in a judge. And that's reflected in the way he runs his courtroom. That's reflected in the way you feel when you're in his courtroom, because he sees to it that every person in there, whether it's a litigant or a lawyer or whomever it may be, is treated with respect and dignity and intelligence. Again, from a lawyer's point of view, that's priceless. To have that combination of heart and mind means that it's a lawyer's pleasure to be in his courtroom. Now, assuming the election goes the way it ought to go, Myron will get what he wants, which is to go to the Court of Appeals, and even though he will be sorely missed on the trial bench, if that's what he wants, then that's what we want for him. Although I did hear that he's going to Duke or somewhere for a Master of Laws degree, and I was wondering, wasn't law school bad enough? I mean, who does that?
Judge, why don't you tell us a little about your family? I saw a post last week, very good news. Your daughter was accepted to Ohio State Law School, my alma mater.
Yes, and I knew that. And so My family, I've got 3 children. My wife and I have been married for 23 years, and I've got my oldest just recently graduated from Morehouse College in Atlanta with a degree in economics. He's off in corporate America now. My middle child, the one that you just saw the post, she just graduated from Spelman College, and so she got commissioned as second lieutenant in the United States Army, as well as she's going to law school. We're extremely, extremely proud of her. And then my youngest, she is a rising senior at Capital University, and she's pre-law. And, she's doing some pretty amazing things too. She was just in Washington, the Congressional Black Caucus, interning when the virus and the pandemic hit. They had to shut the program down, and so she's back home. But I'm proud of all 3 of my children, and so I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations, and it sounds like you should be proud of all.
Well, I get a pay raise a little bit too, that they're a little bit out of the house now.
That's all right.
Hi, my name is Charlie Contrada of Contrada and Associates, and I would ask you to vote for Judge Duhart for the 6th District Court of Appeals. I think one of the most important things is experience, and Judge Duhart has been on the bench, the Common Pleas bench, for 10 years. And what Common Pleas means is the big cases. He's done the murder cases, the big civil cases, and he's had a number of those cases and a lot of experience. And quite honestly, in doing those cases, he's written hundreds, if not thousands, of opinions. And I think education is important too. He's got a judicial degree from the prestigious Duke University, and he's also been asked, one of the very few judges in the state of Ohio, to do the business commercial docket for Lucas County. All of that adds in his favor. He would be a great candidate. Please vote, and please vote for Judge Duhart for the 6th District Court of Appeals.
You were in the military. Tell us a little about your military service.
Yeah, and so I graduated from high school, and I didn't really have a way to pay for college, and so I joined the Army. I enlisted as a private. I was assigned quartermaster, and so if you know anything about quartermasters, just supply.
Okay.
But I did that for 2 years. They had a program called Green to Gold. The idea being that you could go from camouflage green to be commissioned as an officer. So green to a gold bar was the idea. So I took advantage of that program. Went to college. Once I graduated from college, I was commissioned as a transportation officer. And then when I graduated from law school, I was commissioned as a JAG officer. And so I take service to our country very seriously. My children, my oldest that I told you about, he is also a commissioned officer. So I have 2 of my 3 kids that are commissioned officers. And I'm extremely proud of our service, not only in the family, but my service as well.
Well, hopefully our next interview will be after the election when you're in the Court of Appeals, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Jerry. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My name's Steve Hartman. I'm the local attorney here in Toledo. I've been in front of Judge Duhart on numerous occasions with different cases. I've always found him to be a very smart and thoughtful jurist, and I think he'd be a great candidate for the Court of Appeals. He does need your support, though. He's trying to reach 8 counties, and he needs support as much as he can get it. So I would urge you to go to judgeduhart.com and donate now. Thank you.